Do you remember your first mining rig? I bet you it didn't have the latest and greatest hardware or technology in it. I know many of you maybe even used a milk crate or even a shoe rack that you went ahead and manipulated to end up being a mining frame. Or maybe you're a little more handy and you went with something like building your own mining frame out of angled aluminum or pieces of wood. Well, let's go ahead and reminisce. What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, before we go too far into today's video, I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments. What did your first mining rig look like? Go back whenever you started, if it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. What type of hardware and setup did you have for your first mining rig? Leave a comment down below. So I still consider myself a beginner within the crypto mining space. I started back in about 2020, but when I go back and look at where I originally started mining and some of the tech and some of the hardware and some of the mistakes that I made, I look back and I go, what in the world was I thinking? So in today's video, we're going to take a look back at some of my first mining rigs, and we're going to laugh a little bit together, mostly laughing at me and some of the ideas that I had, some of the things that I tried, and then what we're going to do is go ahead and look at upgrading some of those makeshift mining rigs to an all-in-one mining solution that I came across more recently. So let's go ahead and jump over to the computer and let's take a look at some of my first mining rigs. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look down memory lane here. So we take a look over on our YouTube channel. We can go to videos and sort, and we're going to go oldest to newest. Once we're over here, we can start to look at some of these, and some of these thumbnails, man, they're rough. But let's talk about and look for some of our early videos and some of the early hardware that we were using. So in one of my first videos, which is actually this one here, a friend of mine actually gave me this frame. Gave me the motherboard and gave me the Delta cooling fans here. And this is actually an old vide frame, and I didn't even know what I had, but that's actually a B250 mining motherboard that I didn't know, like the gold that I had available to me. Like, that was insane. And then I also had some risers, and the one thing I did have was the risers were powered by SATA. And I didn't know, what was going on then. I just kind of was happy to have this. My friend gave this to me. It had been sitting in my basement for quite, a year or two before I ended up pulling it out and trying to mine with it. So I was actually like ahead of the curve a little bit because I actually had some of these bare bone basic items to get me started. But and there's a better shot right there. I actually bought, my first card that I bought was actually an MSI 970. And I mined on that thing for maybe a day or two. And I actually went and bought, I prepared to expand my farm. So I bought from Parallel Miners, an HP server power supply. I bought the breakout board. I bought the PCI cable. So I was on my way there. And I think that was really thanks to watching a lot of Red Panda mining and learning kind of what hardware to buy at that point. But my 970, I mined on Ravencoin. I think it got 6 or 7 mega hash. It was nothing insane, to say the least. But then moving on from there, I started to get these ideas of, outside of having that frame, which kind of set me up for the future, once I started to actually have to buy additional frames and stuff, I went down this rabbit hole of buying old HP tower computers and stripping them down. Okay, so what I ended up doing was actually stripping down a HP computer, and as you can see, here's kind of the leftovers, but I stripped it down and then I just put it on a rubber mat. I didn't even use a frame. I just took a rubber mat. It's actually a toolbox liner that I put on a metal shelf, and there's the motherboard just sitting right on top of it. And then I had my power supply on there and everything. I didn't go crazy at all getting started, because that's just kind of where we went to at that point. There it is, nothing to it. That was pretty much it. And it was like for a single graphics card, you could slide right into that. And it was like, ooh, like 50 bucks, and that got me the whole motherboard and everything I needed. You could even use the HP power supplies that came with the towers. That I didn't use those though. So these were some more of those computers that I ended up trying to strip down. You can see here, this was kind of me just kind of breaking it down to use these, which, yeah, it is right there, is what we ended up doing. At that point, I didn't end up going the route of like milk crates or anything like that, and or like a shoe rack, which I always thought was a good idea though. I'm not sure if you guys did as well, but yeah, look at this. I did a lot of like these HP motherboards, and then I went and got splitters, and then trying to use these splitters in order to, with these HP motherboards. Yep, just like that right there. And I was like, all right, great. How far can I push this? How far can I take this cheap motherboard and see how many actual GPUs I could mine on it? So then finally, I went down this route of taking like a small metal rack and turning it into a mining rig. So let's jump ahead here. I'll show you what I got. So once again, we're going the HP and motherboard route. There's a power supply. So I actually, let's see. Yep, there it is right there. So it was a little metal rack. Like it almost was meant for like shoes almost maybe. And then I took a piece of the rubber toolbox liner, and then I put the HP motherboard on it, and then I put the power supply next to it. Yep, right there. And then look, I actually took two of the Misfit Mining GPU hangers, and those are R9 380s actually. That was mining Ethereum Classic on it. And my whole goal of this video was actually building a budget rig. It was for 500 bucks for Ethereum Classic. Like, and it did. Like everything all was underneath of 500 bucks, but it was crazy trying to get by. Oh, looks like I'm way ahead there. But that was like my finished product. Like granted, without the wiring and stuff like that. I wanted to see if there was a video or part of the video where you could actually see. Nah, you can't really see. Oh, there it is right there. Oh my gosh. Look at that Frankenstein thing. It's just like motherboard, power supply, a bunch of cables running. But hey, I was happy with it. And it was 500 bucks. And it all came together pretty clean. So, yeah, you know, I kind of cheaped out here and there getting started, which I think we all do. But yeah, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys, just your thoughts on, you know, what did your first setup look like? Did you go this route of just kind of like MacGyvering some things together in order to see what you could build and get by with early on? I mean, especially for me, I didn't know how much I would be into mining or how invested I would be. So it was always hard for me to spend a lot of money on hardware. I mean, we so easily spend money on GPUs, but then supporting hardware we kind of forget about. Alrighty guys, so we're going to jump over to the table behind me here, and we're actually going to look at a solution that a company named 𝐂𝐢𝐧𝐢𝐧𝐬𝐿 actually sent me, and they sell all-in-one mining solutions. So this is a solution for us makeshift miners who are still getting by with a shoe rack, or getting by with a milk crate, or for me, mining rigs on a rubber mat on a metal shelf. So they kind of sell your all-in-one mining solutions. So let's go ahead, jump over there. I want to unbox it, build it, and then set it up to replace one of my mining rigs. Okay, so when I spoke with the team over at 𝐅𝐨𝐲𝐬𝐧 and we were talking about doing a video on this all-in-one rig, my target focus for it was to talk to the audience who is still using makeshift mining rigs. A lot of us still do. I mean, I did for the longest time. It makes sense from a cost perspective, and there's very little pushing us to go ahead and upgrade. Well, if you're in that market, though, to upgrade, it's kind of why I wanted to show this to you guys here. So this rig here is kind of an all-in-one mining rig. Comes with everything you need except for GPUs to get started with mining. So this comes with our 4 high CFM fans in the front. You have the riserless motherboard, so there's no riser needed. You just slot right into the motherboard, and it gets power from these 4 PCI slots that you guys see there. And look at that, the fans actually plug right into the riserless motherboard as well. This does come with everything you need. So you have your mSATA, 128 gig. You have 8 gigabytes of memory. You have a Intel G series processor, and then it comes with this massive power supply here. So this thing is 1800 watts on 240 volt, or you can run it on 120 volt, and you get 1450. So plenty of power for that. It does come with all these PCI cables. Look at all these. Never going to use all of those. Holy cow. And yeah, it comes with everything you need, even this Ethereum gold coin. Check that out. Now, I'm not saying that's worth buying, but this is pretty cool. So, what's next? So, for this rig, I'm going to go ahead, pull the mSATA drive, put HiveOS on it. I do have this little adapter here. If you guys need one, I'll put a link down below. This works great. Turns an mSATA into USB, so you can flash HiveOS with Boolean Etcher. I'll get a few cards in here, and we'll power this thing on, and we'll get off and mining. Okay, so as I was putting this together, I decided to put Windows 10 on the mSATA drive, and the reason is because I had these 3 graphics cards sitting around. I wasn't really going to do much with them, and my son has been talking to me about wanting to do mining because he wanted to utilize, I don't know if you guys remember, I did a video a while ago that you could mine and then get paid out in gift cards, like Nintendo eShop or for V-Bucks in Fortnite. Well, my son's been really interested in that, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to give this rig to him. He's 9 years old. I think he'd really enjoy it. I told him he could save his money up for graphics cards, so I'm going to give these to him. So he's going to get a 570 4 gig card, and then these are actually 2 R9 380s. Now listen, we're not making big bucks here, folks, but that might give him a few V-Bucks here and there, or a Nintendo eShop gift card every few weeks or months or whatever, and then he can save his money and add in additional graphics cards, and I can buy those with him. So I thought that would be a ton of fun and something for him and I to enjoy together. So I installed Windows 10. I'm going to install the salad.io is the name of the software, and it has a full web dashboard and stuff like that. But I thought this would be a really cool kind of fun thing to do with him as a father-son type of setup. So that's what I'm going to do with this setup here. Anyways, guys, huge shout out to the team over at 𝐅𝐨𝐲𝐬𝐧. I'm actually going to put a link down below. They gave me a 20% off coupon code right there on Amazon. So you can go over to Amazon and get 20% off for this entire setup. Of course, without the graphics cards, but you can get everything here. So if you're still rocking your milk crate or your shoe rack, or you're looking to just get into a new rig or whatever, maybe this is for you. I'll let you guys decide. Go ahead and check it out down below. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Something different, something new. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And finally, guys, something brand new to the channel. If you stayed this long, awesome. We have gone ahead and we now have members on the channel. We actually have codenamed them thanks to Seb Heslow, the Nomi Squad. So thank you, Seb. And if you guys want to go ahead and check it out, you can click the join button right next to the subscribe button, and it'll give you all the details, and that will take you to the next tier from a subscriber up to a Nomi Squad member, and it'll list you guys all the fun perks and benefits of being part of the Nomi Squad. Well, guys, that's going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.